Hey guys, how you doing? Today is March 21, Friday. We take some time to have a quick look. I don't want to talk about politics of Elon Musk, right? But we do have the need to take a look on the financial situation or the sales situation of Tesla, right? Because it dropped a lot in the past few weeks, right? And even till now, Tesla's stock price is way too expensive. Still too much expensive, right? Even some of the people then think about the talk about the robots and talk about the Starlings. That doesn't help, right? That doesn't help the stock price, right? So today we will take very quick look on the financial situation, right, or the financial data of Tesla, right? Okay, our Falcon portfolio been not much change after 1 week, right? 1% increment, right? Okay, then for any of you then want to any idea or any comment, you can leave under the YouTube, or you can directly email to me by usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. And this is our covering, right? Even now, Tesla stock price is way too expensive. Direction is the direction, right? You can see that yesterday Dow Jones dropped at 11 points. It rised and then dropped, and then finally dropped at 11 points. No direction, because the tariff on EU is coming about April 2nd, right? So just less than 2 weeks. Nasdaq, nearly the same, no direction. Yesterday dropped it by 59 points. This is Falcon 350,000 portfolio. That means our portfolio then 111%, and this year 2025 our portfolio dropped it by 6%. Quickly we go for the headlines. This news is from UBS analysis, right? And they said that China's property market edges toward an inflection point. I don't think so, right? I don't think so. Then if they really go into the property market of Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Beijing, then they will see that actually is coming even worse. The stock price, the property price keep on dropping, right? And then what they said is the existing home sales in 5 major Chinese cities have climbed by more than 30% from a year ago. Then maybe the data is, right? But in the reality, it is not, right? So not that thing. Japan's core inflation rose 3% in February. Yes, right. The expectation is 2.9%, right? But now is 3%. I think that's okay, right? The headline inflation rose 3.7% year on year on February, right? But 1 month before is 4%. So I think that's okay, right? And most of the reason because of the tours. See that foreign visitors, right, contributed half of Japan's full-year GDP rate of 1.5%. That means half of the GDP growth contributed is by the visitors, right? And I don't think that BOJ, right, that means the Bank of Japan, will intentionally do fiscal policy of strong yen. I don't think so, right? They won't do that, because you can see that it's occupied half of the GDP growth. If they do that, a lot of things then will be affected, right? The first thing is the tour, right? So I don't think that they will do that. That's just by natural, right? Sad things is for Nike. Then readers can go into the internet and check the stock price of Nike. Very bad. because of the tariff, right? Dodge cuts and tariffs. We know that a lot of the apparels from Nike is import. Either they do it in China, some they do it in Vietnam, Cambodia, right? I don't think that they start to do it in India, not yet. Maybe just a little portion of them, right? And also in Taiwan suppliers, right? A lot of them is import to the US. We know that Nike is for worldwide, but if like that, then the profit margin will be further lower, and further lower. Right? So it's very sad for Nike. A long road to the profit rose again, right? Because Trump will be there for 4 years, right? 4 years, right? Not a short time. So what a pity. Then we go for Tesla, right? Tesla owners are trading in their EV at a record level, right? When does it start? Since Elon Musk joined the Trump's White House, the people start to sell their Tesla cars, right? That's what it is, right? About Starlink, right? That is a good news that Starlink gets access to India, but there are some limitations. Then, first of all, then Starlink need to get the license. That is a communication license under the India government. Second is then Starlink must join the hands of another big enterprise in India. But still, right, it's better than China because Starlink has no position in China. No, right? Even you want to do that, China government will not allow, right? So India's better, right? At least you get the license for that, right? But in China, no way. Then we go into Tesla. You can see that Tesla, right? After Trump and then Elon Musk joined the hand of Trump, you see that the stock price quickly go to more than 400, and the peak is $488 per one share, right? But very quickly it dropped it, nearly dropped it more than a half. But even she dropped it more than a half, the PE ratio is still over 100, 115 now, right? And for the past 1 year, the stock rise only 36%. And in the last 6 months, the stock price dropped by 5.5%. Remember that. Always look at 5 years, 1 year, half year. Then you know that the probability of Tesla further dropping is quite reasonable, right? Because the trend is going down, right? You can see that. 5 years, 1 year, and then 6 months. Actually, the cost of goods sold per each vehicle of Tesla is dropping. You can see that, right? Cost of goods sold is dropping. You can see that, but it doesn't help a lot. There are few manufacturing base of Tesla, right? You can see that. One in California, active. One in Shanghai, active. One in Berlin, that means Germany, active. One in Texas, active. One in Nevada, that means in US, pilot production. That means out of them, 2, Shanghai and Berlin, when the cars being finished, right, they sold in local. That means they show in Berlin and then in China. And then when the car needed transport back to US for selling, there will be 25% tariff. And when US car or Shanghai's car finished it, they transport to EU for selling, there may be tariff. Then they transport to Canada, right? There may be tariff, right? So there's no way out, right? So if the selling for Shanghai and Berlin, if the selling is bad, then it's bad. Then it's very bad. We all know that in China, the sales just dropped by 50% compared to 1 year before. Now it's BYD, right? It's terrible. And we can take a look on the market share of Tesla in EU. European market is very critical to Tesla, right? Because EU population is 0.55 billion people. In US, it's just 0.35 billion people. But you can see that in January, Tesla in Europe, the market share quickly dropped by 45%. And this included UK because of the politics. But the others, the green color, rose by 37%. That means the people is not buying Tesla and they buy the others, right? Maybe also US brand or not, we don't know, right? But they are definitely not buying Tesla. That is killing. And in end of January this year, we can see that both the earnings per share and the revenue of Tesla missed the expectation, right? And the revenue missed a lot, missed by 1.42 billion US dollar. That is an annual report for 2024, not a quarter report. It's an annual report. See that the revenue in 2024, if compared to 2023, only increased by 1%. That is nearly zero. Only increased by 1%. Very bad. And on the gross margin, not the net profit margin, gross margin, 2022, 25.6%. In 2023, 18.2%. On 2024, that means last year, it dropped to 17.9%. The gross margin keep on dropping. And if we take a look on the profit and loss account, right, on the balance sheet, right, you can see that the current asset is very okay. 58.3 billion US dollar. It is better than the total liability, only 48.3 billion US dollar. But there are some data that the total debts in 2024 is more than the double of debt in 2022, but the current asset is not a double, only increased by about 40%, 40% something. So we have to take notice of that. The current asset, cash, is not going up like that, but the total debt is more than a double. And the most killing part is the net income. You can see that the net income in 2024, the net profit margin is only 9.2%. Once I thought there will be 10%, no. It's only 9.2%, the net profit margin, very, very low. And we can see that the net income in 2024 is 7.1 billion US dollar for the whole year. But in 2023, it's 14.9 billion US dollar. That means the net income is dropped by more than half. And even and even a lot lower than 2022. That was the pandemic. So what does it mean, right? So if like that, if this goes on, right, the forward PE is 87.45, but still way too expensive. First, this may not happen. Second, even this happen, you think that will be better? I don't think so. All right. If Tesla lost the Canada of the EU market and she lost the China already, selling very, very few, and also lost a little bit in the US, then what does she has? All right. And we are looking forward for the FSD, right? That means the full auto driving system, but I don't think that will be easy. We know that it's not easy for auto driving, right? It's not easy. And don't forget that there is the Waymo from the Google, right? There is the Waymo from the Google, and in China, they will not let you do this first unless then you sell the technology to the China government, right? So that's not gonna happen. So what does she has? I don't know, right? It just a EV. That's it now, right? And also for the charging, right? That's it, right? And if we put our bets on the robot and the Starlink, then that will be another story. Well, I don't know. That will be another story, right? But if like that, then even now the Tesla stock price is still too expensive, right? From the fundamentals. We are not talking about politics. If talking about politics is even worse, right? So take good care, buddy, right? If you still holding this stock. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and then like, comment, share are welcome, and then please subscribe as well, right? Press the bell icon next to it and you will never miss another update, right? Thanks guys for watching, and I hope everybody have very good weekend. See you guys on next show. Bye bye.